We're here trying to help Animalis and Bitola, and we're trying to raise awareness for the shelter. And I heard that you two have quite a story, and we want to hear more about it. How did you hear about Animalis?
So I was on Facebook. I've already got a rescue from South Korea and I like another dog. So I was looking at other rescues. So I was just sort of scanning through really. And what caught my eye was your video on YouTube. And I know there are a lot of sort of scams out there where people show pictures of dogs and ask for donations. So I was a little bit skeptical about, which ones are real, which ones aren't. So I watched your video and I thought, oh, this looks a good shelter. Never been to Macedonia before. My husband loves history. So I had a look at your video a couple of times, listened to what you said. Loved the two little fluffy puppies as well that Natasha, I think, brought out. And yes, I like the look of a couple of the dogs that were there. John, especially, who's actually still in the shelter. Love John. So I twisted my husband's arm to actually go out and see the shelter for ourselves.
It was your first time coming to Macedonia, and you decided to come directly to visit the shelter.
That's what I wanted to do, yes. And actually see all the dogs.
So if the tourism board of Macedonia is listening, it sounds like that there's a tourism opportunity here.
For sure. I mean, going back to the first question, Rachel, I think she'd watched your video at least half a dozen times, maybe a dozen, before she said to me, come and look at this, come and look at this. She's very enthusiastic about the dog. So I had a look. And as Rachel said, I thought it was really helpful to see the shelter through your video and the passion that we could see from Natasha and Julia that said something about them as people and as characters. Our experience of meeting Macedonians and being in Macedonia was all positive, I'd say. That was why we were there. And I think Natasha kept sort of saying, oh, do you want to go somewhere else? You want to go to Ohrid? But that wasn't, we visited specifically to spend time at the shelter and to help and, assess if there were other ways in which we could help. And that soon became apparent. We had a neighbor, when she died, she gave a gift of £5,000 for myself or my three sisters to give to a charitable cause of some kind. And she loved animals. So Rachel and I spoke and chose to give that money. And I'd said to Rachel, I'd prefer to go and see it before investing that kind of money.
What inspired me after being here and hearing the story as well and seeing it is that it's not like in Canada or in the UK where there's resources or others that'll take care of the issue. I'm an animal lover, I'm a dog lover, and seeing it in my hometown, and after speaking to both of them and seeing the issue, it's no one else will do what they do. No one else. And I definitely can't do what they do. They're incredibly brave, incredibly resilient. I personally don't have those qualities to that extent. And there are good people. There are good people. You do see lots of individual acts of kindness and help, but the systemic issue is something else. It's like Natasha and Julie, they don't have anywhere else to go. It's all their donors, it's all their supporters.
We haven't tried. This is something that government need to put end of it, like to get the law in place and start to doing the punishments and for this madness to stop, because if people don't pay neuter here, it will stay same, like we won't change in any near future.
And Rachel, as a dog lover, something that's been happening here in the city of Kichivo, in the last few weeks, there's been a mass poisoning of stray dogs and hunting of stray dogs effectively in the city of Kichivo, Kavadarci as well, which is another city in Macedonia. And that speaks to the systemic issues where, where I'm from in Canada, I'm assuming it's the same in the UK, it's not perfect, but there's still systems, there's still rules, there's still some sort of law enforcement where here, like I said, in Kichivo, I think it's 40 dogs that got poisoned. It's 40 dogs that got poisoned.
Yeah.
So the solution here unfortunately, for a lot of places is that the solution is to kill these animals. rather than dealing with the systemic issues. I do want to focus on, as much of a systemic issue it is, we are working, all of us, including you two, to improve the situation. Your experience at the shelter the first time that you came, what did you guys specifically do besides visiting?
Rachel was, petting the dogs. It's really nice for them to be over there because the dogs will get, attention, and that's why what they miss from us because we are always like entering, starting to clean, so we don't have much time to pay attention to every single one of them. So that was really nice because they had the attention they wanted.
Well, I could have taken them all home. But yes, when I first arrived, I was actually quite upset the first couple of days to see all these dogs on the street just curled up and yeah, not looking good. You know, their coats are dull, they've got patches, they're quite thin. Oh, it's quite upsetting, really.
You know, even that in itself, like Natasha said, that means a lot to the dogs. So if anyone else is ever watching this and is inspired, just coming here to see the dogs, spend some time with them, is very important to them as well.
So Rachel have the experience adopting Keeley, so I wanted to explain more about how you decide to adopt Keeley and to take back in time when you were watching her for the first, second, third day and the last day, and what made you decide like in that minute to, I'm going to adopt Keeley.
We saw quite a few dogs. They were a lot older. What's sad is there is a look in their eye that they are sad. And she actually hadn't. The look was still sort of bright in her eyes, but she was playing with some children and following them on a scooter. And there was a mum pushing a pram. She was giving her some bread. So they did love her, maybe because she was a baby and she's pretty. But when she's older, you know, it might not be the same story. But when I saw her, I thought, oh, I can't leave her here. So I did chat to Natasha and I said, oh, is there any room in your shelter? I said, I'm taking her home. But I think they said, oh, well, we'll see.
But I would just say one other thing about, like, so Rachel, I was convinced about the fact that here was a young puppy who had a sort of light in its eyes. And when Natasha educated me, certainly that won't last. It's only one, mistreatment or, sadly a kick in the jaw because it's irritating and someone in a restaurant away from the light going out or at least dimming. For me, that was right. We got to do something about this. We've got an opportunity for this dog to change its future. So that inspired me. And he's been great, hasn't he, so far?
Yeah.
And so the bottom line is no regrets with Keeley at all.
That's all.
No.
She's brilliant.
She is hard work. She grew bigger than I thought. She loves her exercise. We did the DNA and she's got 19 different breeds.
Oh, okay. I call them the Balkan Special. Yeah.
Yeah. She's got a lot of shepherd dogs in her, which is why she can run for miles. But yes, she goes to, it's called doggy daycare here, but it's a dog adventure land. And she goes and plays with 20 other dogs. They have paddling pools, they have climbing frames. And they said she is the sweetest dog ever. She hasn't got a mean bone in her body. She gets everybody up to play. She's rallying them all around, getting them all up to play. And she will play for 3 hours, no problems.
She definitely sounds like she has like a Macedonian child personality. Just lots of play, lots of running around.
Yeah, very fun-loving.
I wanted to ask you too, and this is something that I could speak to as well. What was your impression of Natasha and Juli in terms of their interaction with the dogs? I kind of touched on this earlier, but what I'm going to say is that you cannot do what they do if you absolutely do not love dogs. They absolutely care about every single one of those dogs in a way that is both visible, it's palpable, you could feel it. And I just don't think that you could do that work unless you were as committed to each and every single one of those dogs as they are. Was there anything that stood out to you? Do you have the same impression? I just want to hear from you two on that.
very calm. And I think that's why when you go in the shelter, all the dogs love them. Very calm, very, very calm. That's what I noticed because Tiffany was a little bit, she was a little bit nervous and was barking. But it was all right. And she was quiet and she was fine, very calm. And I did laugh when we were having coffee in one of the cafes as the dogs walking past. Natasha's out with her spot on, had a little bit of spot on as it goes past, talking and sorting out all the dogs on the street at the same time. I mean, I really don't know how you do it 7 days a week. You still got to clean them out. You've got to feed them twice a day, exercise them. How you do it 7 days a week, I'll never know. So whenever I feel tired and I think, oh, I've got to take Keeley now for 2 hours to the woods, I think, yes, but I haven't got 70. I mean, I am amazed. How do you do it 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year? And the social media. Oh, always on your social media.
That part is the hardest. I think I'd rather all the poo in the shelter than sit down to get the posts and everything. That's why I always late with updates and things like that.
Julie, you said that was the hard. Why do you say
Because when you spare time for every adopter or potential adopter, like 10 minutes, 5 people or 6, that is 1 hour. And imagine we have private jobs, we're going in the shelter. After that, going back home, sit with 7 people or more, and the time flies.
And sometimes home another dogs that needs to get to be vaccinated before coming in the shelter. So having the cats, having our dogs, it's kind of,
Mission impossible. Mission impossible sometimes.
Yes.
sometimes when you want to have, a break and you try to sleep at night, when you have so much in your mind and you feel exhausted and you just can't, go lay down and just fall asleep immediately.
And Nathan, I think, was there something that you wanted to mention, what you experienced with Natasha and Julie in terms of seeing the work that they do?
I mean, it's very, very inspiring to see people who have a passion for something, which is clearly the case with Natasha and Julie, their passion for these dogs. But it's their willingness to give so much time, energy, effort, which is largely unseen by people. When you go
think
there,
that's the
you
thing.
you realize it's not just the enjoyment of, oh, we've got these dogs around us and we're helping them. It's the social media side of it, the trips to the vet, the keeping a check on the finances. What can we afford to do? What can we not? We'd love to do this, but we probably ought to do that. All of that constantly. And that they're doing it, as we have a phrase, a labor of love. What's that mean? Well, it means you labor, you work. And I can tell you, they work so hard. It's so inspiring. But why do they do it? They're not doing it because they're being paid. They're doing it because they love the potential outcome, which is that another dog is rescued. That's what I was inspired by. It was by their willingness to work so hard out of love for the dogs, So if you've got blood running through your veins, you can't fail to be inspired by that. So it would be so lovely to see them. I mean, we did what we could, which was within our skill set and our ability, and we'd been given a financial gift to give towards animal welfare. So that was what we were able to then invest in the project that I helped do. But we would love to see more assistance, more help given to Natasha and Julie in the areas that they need it most. And that might be someone with skills in social media communications, fundraising, those sorts of things. So anyone that felt, even if they're not that passionate about spending time with dogs themselves, but can see the good that's being done, if they could do something in the social media side of it or some other way, fundraising, then I would say you couldn't find two more inspiring people to get behind and to support. And who knows where it could go? I mean, it's one shelter in one town, but there's nothing that should stop us believing that the whole of Macedonia could be changed. And yeah, it needs a beginning point, and that's all. Like for me, that's already there in what these sisters are doing. So yeah, I really appreciate. Well, I'm so grateful for the inspiration that they've been to us. You know,
Doing this video, maybe more people will see it. It will reach out, and I think particularly for Macedonia, if people watch it, they will see that this is nothing bad to help animals, that people from other places coming here to help. Maybe this will open their minds. They can see that this is something that everyone should help or try to help in some way. They don't see us like we are rescuing the dogs and help the streets to have less. If we don't rescue, don't send them to forever homes, imagine what will happen on the streets. It will be like hundreds and hundreds all over. So I think people should understand that if everyone gives a little, one guy can, or one woman can take and bring home one dog, it will help in that way. So I think people need to understand that in helping in any way, it doesn't need to be money or something else. You can just bring to your home and try to help. And that's really hard for us because we are doing everything possible. So, it's not fair.
Even if you set the animals aside as animal lovers, they're doing something very tangible for the city. They're trying to help a real public issue. They're doing it in an ethical and moral manner. What could be done more is resources, attention, and so on. Nathan, I wanted to get into your second time coming here. You were here for 10 days, and I heard quite a lot about it, and I also saw the results of it. What sort of inspired you to come back down for a second time and participate in the labor of love?
on the first visit, Rachel was spending time with the dogs. I did take a little bit of time and quickly learned that they had this field at the back of what was currently being used that they owned, but wasn't secure. So at that stage could not really be utilized. And it just made perfect sense to me to invest the time and the finances we had available in making that secure and therefore extending the shelter so that the dogs could run a little. And it quickly became apparent that if they had that space available and the dogs could go into it, it would then make the clearing of the place where they lived and the cleaning out so much easier. And the dogs would be happier. Natasha and Juli's practical activities would be made easier. And so I thought to myself, right, well, what's involved in getting this done? All of that basically added up to me feeling, well, these are skills that I can bring to the project myself. So the best way to see this done and achieved would be to come and lead the work myself. And Natasha and Juli were saying, look, we can help. Alexander, Natasha's partner, can help. So I thought, right, well, let's get this organized. I'll be honest, I was just excited about going back and working hard for the time I was there. And especially when you feel like you're working to a good end, to something that's going to make a difference. Well, it's a lot easier to get up and go to work if you feel like this is making a difference. I will say the lunches that Alexander and Natasha and Juli provided were stunning. We had the best barbecue chicken every day, and I just enjoyed it. I can get to work quick enough in the morning. I was waiting for Natasha to come and pick me up, and the sun was going down too quick. We'd have worked later if we could. I remember we gathered up the various things that we no longer needed, and we were going to have a bonfire. And it was just lovely that last evening to have the sun go down and then light the bonfire, sit round, and we talked about all sorts of things. I thoroughly enjoyed the work. It was like an exciting project that was possible if you put in the work and used your ingenuity. And I would say to anyone else that would maybe feel like, well, I'd like to help, just ask some questions, see where the need is. And if you felt you could go and help personally, or if not, help financially so that others could give of their time. I mean, we've already talked about possibly going back next year together.
Yeah.
And believe you me, if I go next year with Rachel, I'll want to do something practically to help because it's so rewarding. And you see the happiness of the dogs. When
You open
we
the
did the
doors.
video and the dogs went out, honestly, it was a moment in my life that I'm so glad I've had.
Yeah. They come charging out.
It's emotional thinking about it because you can just see the joy and the excitement that the dogs had, that we were able to sort of produce that was so special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel honored and privileged to have had the experience.
Eat them.
And I will say as well, one of the reasons I love traveling is I enjoy different foods from around whatever country you may be in. We had lovely lunches, as I said, but in the evenings then we went out for some meals in some really nice restaurants. And anyone that's interested in food as well and cuisine, Macedonia's got so much to offer. And it's a lovely town, Bitola. We preferred it to Skopje.
Yeah. And even the man who was renting the apartments, nothing was too much trouble. He was really nice, wasn't he?
Yeah, the apartment was good value.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice place to be and
Mm.
to spend time. We loved it.
And, being from Bitola, I think we appreciated that comment, the jab at Skopje. There's a eternal rivalry between us, Nathan and Rachel. I saw the work that you two did. And coming back to see the shelter again 2 years after the first time, it's like a complete different place. The dogs are completely different. There's that first initial rush when they see you, and then they tire out quite quickly because they have a lot of space now to run around and to enjoy themselves. When I made that first video, it was to bring awareness. It was to kind of give them credibility, to show that there's something genuine going on here. My goal with it was if one dog got adopted from that video, I was satisfied. But to hear what you two did from that one video, it was definitely unexpected, way beyond what I expected and hoped for. So I'm really, truly grateful for both of you. Rachel.
What's lovely as well is some of the dogs that I saw in your video and over the last year that we now see them in their forever homes is just lovely. I mean, we were joking about Tiffany. She was a little bit nervous and she was barking at us. She's been there now a year, I think. Their owners put up a post. It's just amazing. So lovely to see.
I want to thank once again, coming from all the way from Wales to Macedonia and bringing joy to the dogs. It means really a world to us. And Nathan came in second time and organizing and doing all the things he done. Like, I don't think there is person, if you pay him so much money to do it like he done with so much love, with not so many tools for work, bringing his tools from, you imagine.
I brought my own shovel.
So I'm seeing all that, witnessing, and the work, how he was working in the shelter. It just, I don't think there is anything to compare how big heart he have for to do something that will help us and the dogs. And I also want to thank you, Rachel, for seeing the video and deciding to come visit.
And twisting on Nathan's arm a little bit.
Yes.
I was amazed at how easily I clicked with Natasha. It was like I'd known her a long time and it was just easy. It really was so easy. And I do wish that you all lived closer to me.
On the topic of boosting tourism here, the real estate prices are affordable here. So if you do want a second home as well,
Well,
like I said, the prices are a little more affordable here. You could get more property, larger yards, so
Bigger gardens.
bigger gardens. Vegetables and fruits are probably a lot tastier than where you guys are from. They're a lot tastier from Canada as well.
But Natasha and particularly Julie and Alexander were such good workers, hard workers. So yeah, that made the whole thing so much easier and more enjoyable, really. I still remember Julie coming through the gateway and banging her head against the crossbar. I don't know if it was lower that day or what was going on, but she had this great big bruised, bloody scar here. But that wasn't stopping her. She cracked on, worked on the whole day. I took a photo of it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, very easy people to want to help.
I think I saw it in your side. I think I heard it on this side too. Everyone got kind of teared up throughout this whole process. It's definitely been a labor of love from both sides. It's like Macedonia. There's a lot of love hate with all of this. There's hope, there's doubt all the time. But to conclude this a little bit, it's whatever we can do, as little as it is or as grand as it is, I think we all agree that it's going to a good cause here. It's helping the community, it's helping the people, and most importantly, it's helping the dogs as well. So I wanted to thank you both again for your time.
I like to say thank you for your time, and I'm so happy that I have know you, and you're amazing people. Thank you for all you do for us.